and hopefully we'll get like a seasons kind of tour.
And now there's a pattern to these anniversary shows. Like we could actually do an entire chapter of our career just doing anniversary tours,
That would be
because
fine by me.
everything's hitting the 20-year mark.
All right, man. Clint, man, it's good seeing you, man.
Likewise, dude. Let me
Dude.
turn my own voice down. I'm jacked up right now. So yeah, man, it's good to see both
uh,
you guys, man, for sure.
yeah, so this is let me introduce you. This is Johnny Summers. I've known Johnny forever. He's a guy who can play every instrument better than I can, one of those kind of guys.
Yeah,
Smarter than
like
me, maybe a little better looking. I don't
just
know.
the
Probably
whole.
not that part.
But this is definitely my first interview for 2023. So thank you for being on here, man.
Oh, dude, we got history, and you've always been so good to me and my friends, and I just love you, man. You're a good dude. So yeah, no worries.
Thank you, man. I love this Clutch T-shirt. I mean, it's so bold. It's right there.
Dude,
What a
it's like
great band.
I just love Clutch, man. They march through their own drum. They always have. And John Paul is one of my favorite drummers.
Have you guys ever gone on tour with them?
Oh yeah, we actually went out with them years ago on a tour called Southern Fried Chicken Fight, and it was them, us, and Stuck Mojo.
Whoa, that's amazing.
It was amazing. We were out of our minds right then. But anyway, it was great. We loved those guys for years.
Dude, one of my favorite memories, you've come to the show. You've been on my show in person with your wife, Tara, who's awesome. But one of my favorite memories is you going platinum with God Bless the Renegades in my basement, Well,
I don't.
actually, I sent you the award. Yeah, I sent it to you. You didn't do it actually in the basement.
Yeah, I don't
But,
know. Like, I don't think it was platinum though.
oh, what was it? Yeah. It was
Not anywhere
something.
close, dude. I don't know. Like, there was like a couple things. I think there was like a Billboard, like #1 artist, and new artists, and stuff like that. Like, very, it was cool. I don't think it was like a platinum, like
Yeah,
million.
it was platinum in my mind. That's where
Hey,
it should have been. So, I put your
thank
name
you.
on it, and yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm thankful to put any music out on any level. It's always a success just to be able to make music. So people
Yeah,
dig it.
man.
That's great.
You have a new album out, but before we talk about that, I was kind of wanting to talk about, you got so much going on, and it's funny when I type your name in and Spotify, you have like Call Me No One. I think of Hello Demons Meet Skeletons. You got a lot of work, man. You stay busy over these years. What keeps you going?
Yeah.
I mean, you have this Seven that's been around for going on 25, 26 years, plus all
Yeah.
these side projects.
Uh, you
I'm way
know,
more lazier than you.
no, man, you're quite the contrary. You're a hustler, and you do a lot of cool things. But I'm sure outside of that, you do a lot of you're with regular work stuff. But what you've kind of built is you've been super busy too. But it seems like a lot more than it really is. I was actually kind of laughing. I was looking through Spotify the same thing because I was having issues getting the new song on Spotify based on the way I'm releasing this. And I was looking at the whole discography. What is the word? Yeah. And just looking at all of it, like, God dang, man, like this is a lot of stuff, and I don't know if any of it's really that great, but I love making it. And there's a lot of downtime. I don't really understand why bands have to wait 2-3 years in between records. And the older I get, the more I just want to archive music. It makes me happy. I sit on so much material. I don't drink. I don't do anything else besides play music and be a father, man. So my spare time, I do this. I come down here in this little basement or wherever I've been and write music and release it.
I was telling Johnny about that, about how you record music in your basement, because I know Johnny, you play stuff, you record, write and record in your basement as well, right? So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
man,
I
that's
love the
really cool.
loft.
You got a
He's
loft, yeah.
he's got a serious mic there too. So
I don't know about that. I don't even know if it's working right now. Can you guys even hear me at this point?
Oh, we
yeah,
hear you. You sound
but it's
good.
not coming through that mic because that mic
No, it
would be
sure.
like all.
You're exactly right.
But the
This
mic
is
looks
audio
good.
ears. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a good prop, man. It's a good
My
prop.
little sure KSM is kicking your $7,000 Mike's ass right now.
Yeah, it just looks like a $7,000 mic. I think it was probably more like $25.
Damn. Oh,
No. But
yeah.
yeah, we got the interview up and running, so I'm excited about that. Sorry about the audio on my end.
Oh no, worries. Sorry
It
about
doesn't sound that bad.
making it early. No, that sounds great.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, so you don't actually play the drums on your album? Is that what you're saying, or is it programmed and you were using like Morgan Rose and you
I
were using somebody else, right?
Yeah, so I used Morgan Rose on one song. He was going to do two, but he ran out of time. I programmed all the drums, and then I was going to settle with that, but the guy that mixed it, Richard from Fire from the Gods, Richard
Yes.
Wykander,
Yeah.
he's a good friend. I was talking to him about throwing some drums down. We had wrote a song together that kind of spawned a relationship creatively, and I was like, man, so I have these program drums. I dig them, but and I have this E kit over here. I was actually going to play some, but I don't play good enough to. I can get through stuff and edit it, but it's not like what I really want. So he was like, man, who's going to mix it? He's like, I'll throw drums on it. I'm like, awesome. And then Morgan, there was a song or two that I really wanted Morgan to play, and he was out in LA and he had the tracks and he just kind of played on what was already there and he sent those in and Richard threw them in the mix. And yeah, so Richard and Morgan both played on the 5 songs yeah.
If you need any kind of like crazy raging Cajon style, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
You need a little bongo action.
Yeah, dude. You know what?
That's all I got.
That was my first instrument, man, bongo, because we were poor and I couldn't get a drum set. So my mom went and got me a bongo, and I was thrilled about it. Yeah, because it was like it was coming out of the '70s, so like bongo is still a thing, Carlos Santana.
You're like, Corey, play something. I got the bongo. Just play something. Play anything.
Totally. Totally. He had some better instrument or whatever, but yeah.
When you picked out your new single, the video you put out, guilty, but what am I looking at? Devil Leather. That's an interesting title. How did you come up with that name, Devil? It sounds hard,
It does, dude. I think I messed up because like nothing on the EP is super hard, but that was a working title. I had it on there, Devil Leather, and then someone was like, "That's pretty cool, man. What is that?" I'm like, "I have no idea. It was the first," and I have like devil in all these old projects. There's been so much use of the word devil, which is ironic because I'm not into the devil. I'm not into any that dark. I'm intrigued by dark elements and stuff like that. It's interesting to me. Battling demons. That's where the Hello Demons thing was like with my past and addictions and all that. So there's always been this tie-in with that kind of dark force, and breaking away from it. But that was just a working title. Yeah, and people were like, "Man, I thought that song was gonna be so hard." So I feel bad. I should have went super heavy with that title, but no.
Yeah, you need some Morgan Rose screams, but then it almost turned into a Sevendust song.
I did Sevendust. Yeah, totally.
Who directed that video? Was it JD or somebody like that?
Yeah,
JT. Am I reading that right? JT. Okay, yes.
Juan Ibanez. That's what I call him. But JT Ibanez. He's a local guy here in St. Louis area, which was crazy. He was hitting me up a long time ago, just saying, "Man, I'm just trying to get himself out there as a video director." And I was like, "Man, I was real reluctant to listen to anybody." I'm like, "It can't be from St. Louis and be that good, And sure enough, man, I started seeing some of the stuff he was doing with bands around here and some other ones, and I was like, "Man, he's right in here, right in St. Louis. Like, why? It'd be amazing to connect with this guy." And he did the first live stream I did with the solo stuff, and then he did a video after that. And he's gonna, he's awesome, man. He's gonna do maybe some Sevendust stuff too. He's easy to work with, and it's right here in my hometown, so you can't beat that.
Oh, that's cool, man. I really like the Patreon thing. I signed up. You're like, "What's up, Scott?"
I know, dude.
But I love that, man. That's really cool. You dropped the song early on there, and you did a couple of videos that are really neat. I really like the Patreon thing. That's cool. You're really connecting with the fans.
Yeah, it's a unique thing. I almost feel bad, like it started out like, it's a big kind of cool way to connect with people and make some extra revenue and this and that. But I just really become close with that group, which I call the Walkers, and from Walking the Streets at Night, goofy song that I wrote,
That's
that
a
is
classic.
now my legacy for some reason. But they're just real good. And you've been on there, man. It's like everyone's really
Yeah.
cool, and there's not a huge group of them, but it's we're super connected, and I've learned a lot about these people, and so yeah, and I always like to give them content, and that is exclusive and things that they get early, and because they're spending their hard-earned money, man. I want to make sure they get something for it.
Can you talk about how you came up with the name Ghost Rider that you're calling this album? Was that
Yeah,
a
so
working title or
I was gonna call God Bless the Renegades Ghost Rider,
part two?
but
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. I'm
yeah, that was,
sorry.
but I decided to change it. But I always thought it was a cool sound. I've always been a ghost writer of sorts. Some of my role in Sevendust is I write some vocals from time to time, and I've written for other singers. And the main thing that I was thinking about with Ghost Rider, though, is what it means to me now is, my mom and dad were musicians, and they're no longer here. So I get to kind of write for them and try to look at it as continuing on what the gift that they gave me. So it's like I'm writing for them in a sense
Wow.
now. And
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah, and that's what it means to me. But I, again, like I have been a ghostwriter. That has been my role in ways where, a lot of people might not know that I've written some of the vocal parts. It doesn't really matter, whatever band, whether it was Dark New Day or Seven Dust or whatever. It's always a privilege when I'm able to write. I'm not, like I don't need credit for those kind of things. I don't like seek that out. It's nice to be recognized as a songwriter,
Hmm.
but there's been a deep humility and not really shouting on from a mountaintop. I wrote this, for everyone. I like people to believe that the singers write this stuff, and they do. LeJean's been super active in the process. He brings such a crazy energy to everything. So you could write, Mary Had a Little Lamb and LeJean sing it. It's gonna be awesome.
You can sing the phone book. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he brings like a energy and the meanings and stuff. But yeah. So that's
Yeah,
just
that's a good point, man. You've been kind of behind the scenes writing for decades, but
yeah.
now you get to these side projects, you really get to show it off. Do you ever get pressure where you just can't come up with anything or kind of
Oh
or
man, I'm
take time off?
plagiarizing myself. Like I was writing, I was looking at some lyrics. I'm like, damn, I've already said that like in three, three different songs. But I think after this last EP, I'm gonna start releasing random songs, and I'm gonna do a lot of like southern rock, kind of bluesy, uh, Allman Brother kind of really go back to that. To where like super rock riff, kind of soulful bluesy kind of vibe. I just feel a calling to do that, and I just feel like with my old ass head, my gray hair, that it might be a natural transition. But yeah, man. So you got that youthful, nice head of hair
Dude,
still.
I got the silver going on in the beard, man. It's
Yeah, that
creeping
looks
in,
cool though. When it's
Oh,
there,
thanks,
it's
man.
cool. When it's there, it's like, man, damn.
Hey, man, it looks good, man.
Thank you.
So you have Devil Leather. You mentioned releasing another song. Do you have another song picked out already that you're going to release next to all the platforms?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll release it before the actual start date because this is a
Oh yes.
self-release. I'm not doing it through a label because this was kind of a do it yourself model because I got tired of waiting. When you deal with labels, you have to commit to touring, you have to do all these things, and it was never a good time. Like, oh, it's Seven is coming out, we have to wait. So I wanted to do this myself. I recorded all of it myself. So I'm like, I'm just gonna release it. I talked to a few labels about it. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it myself. And
I tell you, man, the way it sounds so brilliant. I mean, I'm blown away that you did that yourself. Just that one song.
oh, thank you,
I mean,
brother.
it
Thank
sounds
you.
phenomenal.
Well,
I
I
mean, you got to be
appreciate
like,
it.
I did this. This is me.
I
Like
mean,
you tell your wife, look at, I did this.
yeah. I mean, she hears it all the time. She's not even that she's impressed, but she doesn't even listen to anything until it's finally mixed. Like she doesn't. there's like they never come down here, which is sometimes is cool. Sometimes like, do y'all even give a shit? But they do. I mean, yeah. So that was one of the things I do want to release another song, but with the way I'm doing it through TuneCore and the way it's released, it's kind of hard to do the instant tracks. And so, yeah, but I got a video already done for the second song. Same,
Wow,
you know,
wow.
JT did it, and
Did you guys do both videos in the same day?
we did the first one in one day. I mean, dude, like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I did some footage for the second one. It didn't like he didn't like it. I didn't like it that much either, and so I went back a couple days ago and did like 2 hours of just some basic shooting, and so
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Um, so you also, what's crazy is you have Sevendust album already finished. So when
Mhm.
does this Sevendust come out? Do you guys have a date for that?
Yeah,
Or
we
is,
don't have a date. Well, we have a region, like maybe this summer.
okay.
There'll be music rolling out pretty soon in the next couple months. I'm really excited about this record. We did that with Elvis Basquiat.
Oh yeah, Elvis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis has a cool, man. He's done so many bands.
Yeah. He's got his vibe, you know, and we've done this. Will be our third record with him. So, it's been a
When you
journey
have
to,
an album, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, I'm good, but what's up?
But when you have an album finished like that, do you listen to it or do you critique it like I should have done this? I should have played this like this way.
That's a great question, dude. You're like in my head. That's exactly what we do. I've listened to it. I've not liked it. I loved it. I hated it. Then I fell back in love with it. Like it's a thing where when I get away, when I'm finished with a record, I really that one took a lot out of me creatively, which is amazing that I even went for the CP to do myself because I was kind of tapped out creatively. But um, I couldn't even listen to the record afterwards. Then it was mixed and I heard it and Elvis did a great job, but it was like, I got to put it away for a while. And I put it on the other day to listen to it. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good. People are gonna really dig it. I think
Right,
it's one of
right.
the
We
best
can't
ones
wait.
we've done in a while, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, I can't wait. And hopefully we'll get like a seasons kind of tour or at least a Morganhead drum head on my to
Yeah.
finish my collection, you know?
Yeah, but dude, I mean, you're like, and now there's a pattern to these anniversary shows. Like we could actually do an entire chapter of our career just doing anniversary tours, you
That
know,
would be
because
fine by me.
everything's hitting the 20-year mark. But
Yeah.
seasons, we will definitely do at some point a full, at least a few shows exclusively for that record because it was a fan favorite and
Oh yes, it's
yeah,
one of my favorites.
yeah. But that was the Butch Walker record. We love it.
Yeah. Butch Walker. Johnny met Butch Walker. Didn't you meet Butch Walker one time, Johnny?
I've met him several times. He's a really, really funny dude. Kind of odd, you know, because you walk up to somebody, you're like, "Man, I love your stuff," you know. And you never really know what kind of reaction you're going to get from him or whatever. But I saw him at Guitar Center before he went off to do some strings at Abbey Road, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we ran into him after a show in Athens and hung out at a hotel room one night, and he told this kid he was guitarded, and I thought that was pretty hilarious.
He's so damn clever, man. That guy is just like I love that guy, man. I really think the world of him.
Yeah, man, I love the behind the scenes DVD that you guys put out. I guess it was a DVD when you guys were joking around. You're like, play the guitar like this, or maybe like this. Oh, is that the right one? I'm confusing people now. I'm sorry. I think that was a different album. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah,
it's all the
he's
same
clever.
stuff. Yeah, he is. I had more fun doing that record. He had to like bail and do a tour like while we were doing seasons, but he was there for the majority of it. But I
That was a special
laughed
time.
so hard with him every day, just old 80s, like him and I met and the peak of the 80s stuff, like him and I, we go back to that story all the time. And
You guys recorded with him back in the day too, right? Didn't he do some demos for Seven
yeah,
Dust?
he did the first set of demos, but I wasn't in the band yet.
Yeah,
So
I gave you a present, and you're like, I wasn't in the band, but I'll take it.
oh,
I framed.
absolutely.
I gave you a cassette framed, you know, and you're like, thanks. It's not mine, but
That's the cassette that got me to join the band though. So I treasure that cassette, man.
oh, that's awesome, man. All right, man. Well, do you want to? Is there anything you want to say about the new record that's coming out? You said
No,
when's the release date? I can't remember. I think you
it's
said it.
It's February 17th. I'm gonna be doing like a series of I'm gonna do like a virtual hang on via Zoom. I just actually announced those today. I would do that. Basically, I'll just be hanging for like 90 minutes with people and just listening to the songs. And I'll have a little, kind of little poll system and see what people think. And I'll play some of the riffs and, kind of hang. So it'll be capped at 100 people and it'll just be a little virtual hang. And yeah, I'm going to do that a week prior to the release. So that'll happen, I think, the 11th of February. So, but it's officially out everywhere, Spotify, all those places on the 17th of February.
Okay, that's awesome. I pre-ordered the signed CD, and I saw your post like you ordered some more CDs for one last run, kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's a good feeling, then. You're selling out, man.
Well, the funny thing is, there's a thing called I put a post up, a reel or something, and I off the top of my head, I was like in a closet recording my vocals, and I said, "Here at Dark Blanket Records or Studios,"
I saw
and
that.
I actually, when you look at the CD or you look anywhere, you're gonna see like the Dark Blanket Records. So I'm gonna like officiate that or make that official, I guess.
Yeah.
And use that moving forward because it's just funny because it's like so I have all these patrons doing the logos and stuff, and yeah, it'll be funny. But
that's so cool.
But going back to CDs, I didn't realize how many people would want them, to be honest with you. So I just we're gonna ship it out of my house, and we're gonna leave personal notes for people, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, I wonder how many people are actually going to play that CD. Because for me, it's like I'm just going to sit on my shelf and go, "He signed that. It's right there."
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't listen to CDs anymore, but it's tangible. It's a collector's item.
Yeah, you should do cassettes next time. Like cassette tapes. I'm just kidding.
Super cheap. Hey, but dude, people love it.
I'll frame it.
People love buying those, and now people are like actually buying tape decks, and it's crazy.
Well, dude, I appreciate you being on my first interview this year, 2023. You're the man.
My pleasure, man. I love you guys.
Super cool. I love you guys. I love you guys too. I love you too. I love you too, Johnny.
Love you guys too. Yeah, there you go.
All right, man.
Hey, man, thank you for being on the podcast, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Have a good
night. All right,
night.
see you, man. You too, man. So this interview is the first time I've ever had a co-host, and that is the famously handsome Johnny Summers. How did you feel? How'd you feel co-hosting?
I felt like because of the audio and video we had that I looked like a psychopath in a dungeon, but I'm glad that we got all that worked out.
we were a bunch of non-working microphones. I don't know. I think Clint was the most professional person ever. And I'm like, can you see me?
By far, man, he's got his stuff together, but we're getting there. We're definitely going to get there.
Dude, I'm a little jealous of your virgin walls in the background. I've never had that much wall space since I can remember. I got every little inch covered.
The contrast is pretty stark.
Yeah, dude. I could put at least like 20 skate decks back there and some gold awards.
I lived with a family who had stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And just over time, you just kind of go like, I don't need it. I just whatever, man. So this just makes me feel happy. This is my happy spot.
you gotta drop that wisdom, man. You sound like Rick Rubin right now. I just want a white room so I can work with my art. I don't know. I told you you're smarter than me, man.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. You're way cooler than me. Rick Rubin's a cool cat too, though, man. I like watching his stuff.
And speaking of Rick Rubin, we're gonna have him on the show next week. No, I'm just kidding, man.
Oh man.
Don't tease.
Yeah. So we just interviewed Clint, and how familiar are you with Clint? Probably just through my interviews. I've interviewed him 100 times, seems like.
I know of Sevendust. I'm not as intimately knowledgeable. I mean, they're from Atlanta, so you hear about them, but he's obviously a hyper talented musician. All the stuff that I have heard in prep for this interview, I was like, man, the tension and release, it was like, oh no, man, he's really, really talented dude. And so I just know of him, but I don't, I'm not intimately familiar with his work.
Yeah, man, he's someone that's he's been in Sevendust forever, and he was in the band. Then he quit for a couple years and kind of went off the deep end, and now he's like this sober, cool guy. And I definitely look up to him. Like he's like, I don't remember in the interview, he's like, I just go to the basement. I don't drink. I just work out and create art. And I'm like, wow, I go to the basement and do all the opposite stuff. Like, I'm totally lazy. Yeah, dude. I got a special mug for my alcohol. It's perfect, man. Yeah.
You know what's crazy too is just the fact that he was turning down all those record deals was basically because he needed quicker workflow and turnaround. He's like, I'm putting out songs every month or two or working on another project. I don't have time for releases. And it's like, man, he wants to work and he's crazy. It seems like he's very what do you call that, conscientious, like work oriented or whatever.
Definitely, dude. He definitely inspires me to do better. He's the man, But anyway, this interview was really cool. It was really fun. Hopefully we'll have more to come.
Yeah, one of the books, first one for 2023, man.
Yes. Yeah, man. We need to get old Butch Walker on the show. That would be fun. I know Clint brought him up. They recorded together for seasons. So
I wouldn't have to prepare. I just have to try not to be too much of a fanboy. That dude is crazy talented.
Yeah, he is, dude. Yeah, man. Yeah, I love Butch Walker. So anyway, man, this is the intro. This is our intro. We love each other.
This is it.
We're gonna do more of these. You're the man.
Right.
I literally don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, do I hit this button? You hear me? Do you hear me now? So
we got each other's backs, and I'm so appreciative that you've asked me to co-host a little bit with you, man. It's totally an honor, man. I really appreciate it, Scott Pollard.
Thank you, brother.